very exciting. I think that is, for me, it is the most exciting part of what's going on, is the fact that it's a multi-dimensional correlation or areas of overlap. On one hand, you've given us great examples about whether it's for defense or whether it's medicine, and how these things overlap, and how I, as an individual, if I was a patient, could benefit from a doctor that is able to use this technology in an elegant way. But if we can, what I want the audience to also take home is that although that seems futuristic, there are applications for right now. For example, technicians who work on aircraft engines, right? And being able to use this exact same technology. You're not opening a heart, you're not performing surgery on anyone, but you're performing routine maintenance at any given airport, right? On an engine of an airplane. And this technology allows you to do that job better, faster, check it. You can actually have someone who is remote check your job as you're performing it, right? And then possibly speed up the turnaround time of an airplane in any given airport. So we all benefit from that, right? Our transportation systems get better, everything gets better, right? And then aside from the aspect of learning, and then on the other side, you mentioned blockchain, you mentioned cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is something that you work on. I work on that also as part of my career. And yes, there are things that we worry about, but there's also exciting things. And what I tell my kids is, the market is open for anyone interested in working in these things, because there are so many verticals and horizontals and different dimensions of variations of these technologies for any particular market out there. So you mentioned in our conversation about automated production, right? For AR and VR. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that's yet another segment or offshoot of the combination of these technologies.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of describing before too, is just these tools that are making it so easy to just speak into existence what you want to have show up on the screen, or redirect, almost as if you're the director telling a whole crew where to set up certain assets in a scene, and things that would not be accessible within industrial video or within a AR or VR application or outside of Hollywood. Those are things that are coming fast and furious, and we're able to leverage in new and unique ways. So I'm really excited about what that future looks like, and how we can continue to use those new tools. That's what we're exploring every day, what that might look like. And you keep hearing me talk about voice too. Voice is another important technology, just to be able to speak and then have it do natural language processing, the ability to interpret your speech, understand what you want, and then just start to work, whether that's writing a term paper, whether that is doing a technical report, but generating images, generating videos we talked about, or generating high-end graphic scenes in 3D or 2D. Those are pretty incredible, the speed at which they're moving.
So what is it that is to kind of bring it all together and bring it to the audience here, on the everyday things? What are some of a lot of the stuff we talked about is being done in some level somewhere right now.
Yeah.
I mean, just before I joined you on this call, I was here in the lab and here in Lake Nona, and Juan Santos, who's been a guest in this podcast, he's always playing with this stuff, and he was showing me how he created a salsa song, right? Just straight up AI. I said, I want a song that talks about this, and I want it to be in Spanish, and I want it to have salsa rhythms, and I want it to no, but you have to do it like this. It has to. You need to put more feeling into it, and you just keep asking these things, and lo and behold, here comes this song, and you hear it, and you can't really tell, at first glance, that a machine did the entire thing. Even the ad-libbing, which is very typical of Spanish, salsa music, is ad-libbing that goes along, and you have to make it more melodic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Follow the melody a little bit better, So
Yeah.
those types of things we can do today. Where do you think we'll be, say, 5 years from now? What do you foresee? And how does the average person need to be prepared to make sure that they're a contributor in that society?
Yeah, well, the same way that we had a very 2D and flat user-driven economy with YouTube and Facebook and social media outlets across the board, able to empower the end users to create things that used to be only major media outlet content providers could produce. We may get to a point where a dedicated group of people with a good story and a good game mechanic could produce the equivalent of what's now a AAA Hollywood style game, or a very realistic environment where the 3D images are just sitting on your desk as if they were game pieces in a board game and you get to play with them. Those are the types of things that we've already seen some of the building blocks for. So I would not be at all surprised if in 5 years this technology is democratized because of cost and because of ease of use. You can just speak it into existence. And oh no, I don't want a yellow cat. I want a gray cat, a tabby cat. Give me that, and it changes everything for you on the fly, in a video scene, in a 3D scene, or even in a game that has a lot more moving parts and a lot more controllable pieces. You can set all of those things and have all the pieces that are usually painstaking and manual be automated, and allow you, the creator, the community that's creating something, to really focus on the power of connection, power of story, the power of your ability to inspire emotion. And those are things that AI is always going to have trouble with for at least a while, but that it might free up to let the machine do what it can do well. And then that allows all of us in a very human way to personalize and do the things that we can do well. And that's where I think you can not lose the passion, the excellence, the artistry of what happens to the mechanics of the tools that you use with these new tool brushes or tools in your toolkit that you might have. That's what I think is going to be interesting when you start to think about the next few years and how to really keep what we call high tech and high touch. The best of the human side of technology, the best of the automation and computational side of technology, and put those things together in new and unique ways. That's what we think the future of digital engineering is. And within the subset that we're talking about today, learning engineering, thanks to Ellen Wagner, who was a longtime Senior Vice President of Education at Adobe, who's just written some things on that topic with some of the people from Schmidt Ventures, other places, to really a hot topic right now in Silicon Valley, to look at that future and to think it through and to really not lose our humanity in that whole process.
Well, this is excellent, David. So just to wrap up, I just wanted to ask you, obviously you are a professor at University of Central Florida. You're the director there of that lab, Metal, that you mentioned. What would you say, if a 15-year-old, 20-year-old, 25-year-old, or maybe someone, my age is looking to reinvent themselves and become a part of this movement? Where should they start to learn? What are some of the things they could start doing now so they can become part of this movement and become contributors and make a living, doing these types of things?
Yeah. Well, there's some really good news on that front too. Now, certainly I sit at an academic institution, and it's a Hispanic serving institution, minority serving institution, one of the largest in the US, and also one of the least expensive to go to. We have access here at this university to technologies that no one else has, some of the advanced AR, VR technology, some of those different areas. For me, it was the same way. When I was at the University of Texas, I could barely afford the $12 a credit hour tuition when I came in. And yeah, it's a little bit more than that now, even at UCF. But I got access to Pixar RenderMan, which just became the company Pixar later too, one of the first two schools to have it. That got me my first job up in New York, just having access to that. The good news is your public universities across the nation have access to this technology, and many of them aren't that expensive to go to take the right classes to get some skills that you might want, as well as the education you might desire. Those skills translate pretty quickly into jobs that could be life-changing for a family too. We see that every day with some of the young people that they've gone from maybe a trades family to a knowledge worker family, and that's been a big difference for them in terms of wages and things like that. That's not the only way to get ahead or anything else, but it's certainly something that education can do. And on the front of those that may not be at a point in life where they're going to be going to college, or they maybe already have and they want to reskill or relearn some of these new things, you could come back. There's continuing education, but there's also a lot of great free resources out there. And there's a whole culture of being a lifelong learner, and both teaching yourself and taking advantage of the incredible resources, some of them free, out there online too. I always look at the things that Singularity University puts out. I look at some of the things that free course areas like Coursera and Udemy put out, and others too, Udacity and edX up at MIT. They have a lot of things. A lot of things cost money, but there's a lot of things that are free too. And even Microsoft and Open AI, the company that makes ChatGPT, did a whole series of videos and courses recently too. They're free. It's like 55 hours, I think, worth of courses that are free to kind of get a head start on what the next generation of prompt engineering looks like, where you know how to craft something in such a way that the AI gives you the result that you want. That's a whole new skill set for some people, but it's a pretty intuitive skill set. Once you get into it, the training doesn't take long, and that's why this is ChatGPT is the fastest thing to 100 million adoption ever, at least so far. And we'll see how fast other things go, but that's been quite eye-opening to a lot of people in terms of eyeballs and mind share. It's pretty exciting times, isn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't want to be in any other time. I love history. People know this, but I don't want to be anywhere else in timeline right now. So I am very excited about your upcoming book. Yes, I had a great fun time at the KPMG forum last week. Definitely look forward to hopefully work with you some more on that particular topic. As you know, I'm very, very passionate about AI and healthcare. So yes, let's talk some more on that. David, I know you're very busy. I am very grateful that you made the time for me and my audience.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And we'll catch up. We have a pending guitar jam session. We've been waiting 2 years for this. So let's do that sometime.
And if people want to go and see some of the stuff that we're talking about too, they can always go to metil.org, metil.org, as a shortcut to the lab and some of the fun things we're getting to work on at UCF.
Yeah, I will provide all the links, for where you're at and your bio and everything, so people know where to find you in the summary of the podcast. Thank you, David. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thanks. All of this automated production for artificial intelligence can lead to a number of other things, like full digital twins of the different areas of a hospital, a manufacturing plant, of even like our chip production, with a great project that's being run at UCF of our both Knights digital twin and our MEDT with Bridge, the chip manufacturing down just a little bit south of the Lake Nona area. So those are all things that are giving models for what the next generation of automation, the front end visualization with AR and VR, the back end with artificial intelligence and advanced enterprise applications protected by blockchain for immutable records, and looking at cybersecurity on those type of critical infrastructure pieces too. And that's what our government is investing into, and that we're trying to help steward those projects at University of Central Florida. Dr. Grace Bohinnick is running that from the Institute for Simulation and Training, and has been showing some great results in that area.
That's very interesting. You mentioned that, people, those of you who are familiar with digital twins, it seems like it's something new. I always give people the example of a digital twin was in the movie Apollo 13, right? When they were trying to get those astronauts back, and they created another setting here on Earth to emulate what was happening in space. That is, in essence, a twin, right? A something similar to that is somewhere else that you're trying to emulate, right? And I think that technology in itself, as you know, I'm familiar with the digital twin technology from a point of view of wireless communications, SATCOM, and just mobile communications, and that in itself, without the AI component, has grown quite a bit just in the last 5 years. So I am excited to see that technology take off when fully merged with the AI and the AR VR, or as you're calling it, the XR, component. And then also on the cybersecurity, I'm also excited to see what can come from that as a result of. I don't think a lot of people realize that, hacking keeps getting sophisticated as technology gets sophisticated, and these hackers today are looking at these artificial intelligence engine, and they're looking at them and basically modifying them slightly so you don't know they've been modified for years, but they've been doing things in the background. And so how do you protect that? How do you cyber protect, right? These things that are supposedly helping us, right? So I think all of that, I'm glad you mentioned that, there's professors, your colleagues at University of Central Florida that today are working on this technology. It couldn't be any more exciting if you're a young student, if you're an individual who's trying to learn from these things, that we have that here in Lignona, here in Orlando, here in the United States.
It's incredible what Juan Santos and team have done with a whole digital twin of the whole community, even the intelligent home that we helped with, and some of the things with the autonomous vehicles, our hospital systems like the VA and UCF's hospital, and Nemours and others. It's just really incredible to see how that shapes a community and allows you to pre-plan a community very, very well for the benefit of its citizens and residents.
Indeed. Okay, I think we got that. I can definitely fit that in. Let me stop the recording.